Merry Christmas, everybody. Welcome back to Swanson's Garage. I'm out here. It is Christmas Eve. I did not make it back to Wisconsin for Christmas. That's okay. We'll make it back sometime, but it just isn't going to happen over the holiday season here. So I'm doing the next best thing, and I'm working on tractors. I enjoy doing it, so why not? I hope you all are having a wonderful time. Maybe even a little tractor time for yourselves. I realize you're probably seeing this way after Christmas, but as of right now, me shooting it, that's what it is. I dug out the intake manifolds today. I think I'm going to maybe clean them up. We have to remove a few parts. We got a bolt that doesn't belong in there. It's supposed to be a pipe plug, like that one. So I'm sure we'll probably have boogered up threads on this one, because those are not pipe threads. We have a fitting there to remove. That is for the vacuum line. The only difference I see between these two intake manifolds, they must have changed a little bit over the years. This one is just like a straight, this one is actually beveled to allow better airflow, because the bore of the plate here is bigger, so it makes more sense to be beveled like that one. High performance, right? So that's pretty much all there is about that. They look like they're in pretty good shape. We'll sandblast them and we'll see what the surfaces look like. They look pretty decent. I don't think we're probably going to have to do much, if anything, as far as like resurfacing them. Most of that is just rust. It should clean up just fine. If we need to fly cut it a little bit, we will, but I don't expect that to be too big of a problem. So onto the intake goes this, I'm not even sure what the correct term is, butterfly, and then below that the carburetor goes. So that goes over to the controls on the governor. So your governor is controlling the carburetor that way. I was lucky enough to find replacement ball and socket joints, almost exactly like original. I was very surprised. At McMaster-Carr, I actually found them by accident, so I ordered up a set of them because I knew a couple of mine were broken. So that's good. That's the good news. The bad news is I have, two intakes, two butterflies for the governor, but only one carburetor. So I'm going to put a shout out to the internet world. If anybody has a carburetor like this, I am in search for one. It is a Wheeler-Shebler carburetor, Model A, but Model A covers a lot of different carburetors. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. What's important is this stamp number here. I need an AX170. That's what this is. There is a casting number on the side of it of I believe it's a 93, but I don't think that really means anything either. The biggest thing is this stamped number, AX170. And then there is this adapter piece that goes on to the throat of the carburetor. That's your choke butterfly. That is an Allis part there. It's got an AM casting number on it. So the chances of finding one of these are slim to none as well. But on the long shot, somebody has an extra one of them. I'm interested. Probably going to have to look at reproducing that, because I highly doubt I will find an original. And then this is the cast air pipe that goes from the carburetor up to the air washer. I also only have one of them. Again, on a long shot, anybody has one of them, I'm very interested. Otherwise, we're looking at reproducing that as well. all very expensive when you start having to make parts, especially one-off parts. So there again, if anybody needs parts, maybe we can work together and have a few made up. So we will have to disassemble all of this stuff eventually. This is stuck tight, so we'll have to get that freed up carefully without wrecking anything. This one does wiggle ever so slightly, but it is pretty much frozen up. To get that apart. I have not had the carburetor apart yet to see what the inside of that looks like. I expect it to be quite a problem. Most of all, everything moves, so that's a good sign. I don't know if those adjustments move, they might be frozen. It does have some issues though. I don't know if you'll be able to tell, but this ear here, it's like this carburetor was dropped. It is bent up, so that's unfortunate. I don't know, not sure what we'll do about that. I don't want to take the chance of breaking it. Like I said, I haven't even had this apart though to see what's inside. I expect it to be very similar to the carburetor on my 1927-2035 long fender, short fender. It has a Wheeler-Shebler carb, different model, but very similar to this. On the off chance that like it's the same throat size and hole spacings, that might be a very backup plan. If I can't find this carburetor, maybe we can make one of those carburetors work in this situation, at least until I find the correct one. But we have some time before we're going to actually need that. Hopefully one will show up. I've been watching, online, eBay, whatever, hoping one will surface. I've only seen one come up for sale, and I didn't jump on it because it was way crazily priced. Now, seeing how hard they are to find, maybe I should have bought it, but that's neither here nor there. So yeah, if anybody has any leads on that carburetor, I'm all ears. Merry Christmas. It is a good day. I got some stuff done. I got the clips out of these butterflies. I still have to get the butterfly loose from the shaft so I can pull the shaft out so we can work on making new bushings for the shaft. That might be tricky because those butterflies seem to be pretty seized on those shafts, and I don't want to destroy them because they're not just a flat disc. They're formed up on the one side and down on the other. So hopefully we don't wreck them getting them apart. Getting it off of the carburetor was a chore. I had to sacrifice the studs, which is no big deal, but because I couldn't get it to come loose. Even I cut them, took the top half off, and even getting the bottom half off once they were cut was a chore. And then getting them out of the carburetor. I got a few things off the carburetor just to kind of look at it a little bit. We are going to have to address that bent because the float won't come out until that's straightened out. So we're going to have to figure out what to do there. Let me know what you think down below. Should I warm that up to try to straighten it out? This cast bronze, brass, or whatever it is? Or should I do it cold? Let me know what you think there. I'm thinking maybe a little bit of heat might be good. Got the plugs and stuff out of the intake manifolds. Got that retapped. It's actually okay. I thought that would be boogered up where they had that bolt in there, but it's not, so we're good there. So we just got to find a 1/8" pipe plug to put in there. I just got done sandblasting these up this evening. Looking really good. Cleaned up nice. The surfaces came out really good. Shouldn't have to worry about re-truing anything there. I also did the water manifolds for the side of the block. Same story. Those cleaned up really nicely. No issues. I re-sandblasted the fan hubs now that I had them new washers and bearing out of there, so those are basically good to rebuild now. I cleaned up the bolts for the second mag bracket, and these are the bolts for either fan assembly bracket to mount the bracket to the engine. So we're moving right along. Today I made up some new studs for the carburetor to manifold assembly, because remember we had to cut them to get everything apart. All I did was take a carriage bolt, cut the head off, threaded the end so it is the same amount of threads as the original, because it's those little details like that that make me happy. Here we have one all mocked up, and here's the second set for the other manifold. Interesting. You guys pay attention. I'm impressed. One of the last videos, one of the subscribers commented that, hey, did you notice in the 1220 manual the part numbers are completely different than the part numbers in the 1525 manuals? Yes, you're very right. I didn't mention that because I didn't think anybody would care about those little details like that. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Good observation. The part numbers in the 1220 manual are completely different. They have a whole different system, and this manual is stupid. I'll show you why. Okay, so I'm looking at the pictures. Yeah, we're working on intake manifold. Okay, there's a picture of the intake manifold, right? Gives the number L30285. Okay, that's the part number for in the 1220 manual. Well, just to compare it to the part number in the, where is it now? Here it is. The intake manifold part number changes to L627 in the 1525 manual. But it's okay because it makes a whole lot more sense. In the 1525 manuals, all the part numbers go in numerical order. So when you find a picture, you know, a lot of times in these manuals it's easier to search by picture, I've found, to reference the parts. So if you're going through the back and you find, okay, well that L737, that's the part I'm looking for. That's the cap for the oil fill. Okay, so then you can go to 737 oil fill cap, 2 1/4 diameter on all motors above 11,962. Tells you it's cast iron, all the information, blah blah blah. It's a lot easier to find that information because it's numerically ordered. In the 1220 manual, it's not numerically ordered. So I got that part number, but that doesn't help me. I don't know where it is, because none of these numbers go in order. They have them grouped by like assemblies, like this is all camshaft stuff, flywheel stuff, connecting rod stuff. Well, so I have no idea in this list of parts where that number comes into play, so it's almost impossible to find information in this manual. It's dumb. So they realize their mistake, and they realize that, hey, this is a really poor way to organize information. Let's put the numbers in numerical order. It's a lot easier to find the stuff. So as long as you guys notice that, I thought I would point it out. And it's kind of interesting, that part number in the 1220 manual, I can get to focus on here. I'm pretty sure that's probably what this is here, L302, and you can't see the last two numbers because they're so light and obliterated by the pipe tap hole. But I'd be willing to bet that that is actually the 1225 or 1220, excuse me, number, part number, because there is no Allis. So this would be a newer, this is supposed to be the one from the 26, because that number It's still there very faintly, but if you didn't know it was there, you couldn't tell. All you could make out is a couple of the numbers. And note that they have changed the casting slightly. There's a boss for the pipe plug there, where there's no boss on this one. So they changed their pattern a little bit. And further proof of that is they actually have the Allis casting number on here. Now the casting number, that doesn't really help you with much unless you have a reference guide for that. For most purposes, casting numbers are irrelevant. All it is a casting number. But the -1, the suffix, every time they change that particular casting, that suffix number changes. So they must have put a -1 because they changed it ever so slightly. We talked about that was machined a little or cast a little different there. They added an X here. That I don't think means anything, just a casting thing. Where this casting doesn't have the AM number on it, that's kind of odd. So just a few little observations for those guys that care about this stuff, and like I said, good eye, good noticing that parts manual difference there. If I wrap this video up here, I feel like it's probably been long enough. Let me know what you think about stuff. Like I said, if you have a carburetor like this, or you know where I could find one, let me know. A reminder, it's AX170. If you find me one of them, you'll be a hero. I'll give you a big shout out on the channel. You'll be YouTube famous. Alright, Merry Christmas to everybody. I hope you had a happy holidays. Hope to see you soon. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it.